Coming up on RMU Live, Christopher B. Howard begins his first day as the university president. The Iowa caucuses are tonight, and we have the latest. All that and more coming up next.
Welcome back to RMU Live for Monday, February 1st, 2016. I'm Hannah Smith.
And I'm Delaney Hassel. Here's what's happening now.
Well, Colonials, today officially kicks off a new era for Robert Morris University with the arrival of President Howard. Earlier this morning, Howard sent an email addressing the RMU family about his plans to tell the university's story. Howard also said that he started his presidency off by signing the American Council on Education's Moving the Needle Pledge, which supports the goal that by 2030, half of all college and university chief executives will be women. Now here's RMU Live's Dylan McKenna with more on your thoughts about what you hope to see President Howard improve.
Today, Monday, February 1st, 2016, marks day one of Dr. Christopher Howard's tenure as the 8th president at Robert Morris. We wanted to find out what students thought of the situation. It's the first new president we've had in 10 years. What do you want to say to Dr. Chris Howard?
Welcome to Robert Morris, and please fix the ResNet.
I would say we're excited to have you and to see the new changes that you can make.
So one change do you think Dr. Chris Howard should make is he should keep the cap open longer?
Yeah, I know a lot of athletes especially, we have late practice and sometimes we don't get back in time to eat dinner, so it would be cool to have the cap open later.
Welcome to the university. I hope you have a good time here. And something that I think you should, look into changing is the internet. It's rather slow. It's disconnected around campus.
It's Dr. Christopher Howard's first day on campus today, right? As the 8th
right.
president of Robert Morris. What's he like?
He's very dynamic, high energy, very engaging. I mean, he's the kind of person who, when you're talking to him, it makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. Mm-hmm. So I think everybody's like thrilled that to have him on board. I think he's got a reputation nationally. I mean, he's a lead in education. So I think he's going to really boost our visibility and bring a great new perspective on Robert Morris. I think the fact that he was drawn to Robert Morris, given his experience and background, says a lot about us too. And so I think it's just going to be it's going to be a great new chapter.
You can stay connected with Dr. Howard on Twitter at Dr. Chris Howard and online at rmu.edu/president. I'm Dylan McKenna, RMU Live.
Thanks, Dylan. President Howard will also be the keynote speaker at the Black History Month luncheon on February 15th.
As the month of February begins today, like Hannah said, so does Black History Month. Robert Morris will be celebrating Black History Month with activities and events going on throughout the month of February. The schedule kicks off today with the Meet the Greeks event in the PNC Colonial Cafe at 7 p.m. The Black History 101 Mobile Museum will be held in the Gus Kropp Gym on February 15th. It is free to RMU students and $5 for guests. The hours are from 9:30 a.m. to noon and 1:30 p.m. to 5 p.m.
The Media Arts Gallery in the Wheatley Center is hosting the You Show exhibition from now until February 11th. The show features student artwork from several RMU schools. The exhibition is free and open to the public Tuesday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
The RMU Rise Center will be Rise Center for the School of Nursing and Health Sciences has been chosen to be the research site for a national 2-year study by Duke University on the use of a fighter pilot algorithm to maintain CPR skills. The nursing school will receive $5,000 for participating, and students who participate will be paid as well. Nursing professor Susie Cardong Edgren will serve as a national project manager.
Once again, the School of Education and Social Sciences is hosting the Girls and Women in Sports Symposium this Thursday starting at 7:30 a.m. in the Soul Center. The symposium kicks off with a breakfast keynote speech from Nicole Lavoie, an associate director at the University of Minnesota. After breakfast, 2 simultaneous sessions will be available and another 2 at 10:45. To RSVP, you can email Renee Augustine. And for everything you need to know about RMU news, sports, and arts and entertainment, be sure to check out rmucenturymedia.com. Coming up on RMU Live, support is pouring in to the Port Authority Police after losing one of their own.
And the Iowa caucuses are tonight, and we have the latest. You don't want to miss it.
is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Cheers. Take time to be a dad today.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Support is pouring into the Port Authority Police this morning after the loss of one of their own Sunday evening. K-9 dog officer Aaron was fatally stabbed in the line of duty while in pursuit of 37-year-old Bruce Kelly. Aaron was unleashed onto Kelly after refusing police to stop. Kelly then stabbed Aaron. Several Port Authority officers then fired shots at Kelly, killing him on sight. Aaron was taken to a nearby hospital but unfortunately succumbed to his wounds. Our thoughts and prayers are with Aaron's handler and Port Authority Police.
Just blocks away from an elementary school in the Pittsburgh area, a pedestrian was struck by a car around 7:30 a.m. this morning. The accident reportedly happened in the 200 block of Lincoln Avenue in Bellevue. Superintendent of Northgate School District, Dr. Joe Pescara, said that victim is a student of the district. The victim was taken to the hospital and no further details have been released.
The race is on for the next presidential candidate as the first caucuses start today in Iowa. Here's CNN's Diane Gallagher with the full update.
Yeah, well, it's finally here, just like the Des Moines Register said. They want the people to be heard, let their voices be heard. That's what the candidates are hoping is going to happen today, because they have spent, well, let's be honest, thousands of hours and millions of dollars in Iowa, all of it coming down to right now, this evening, and it could not be any tighter. For the first time in the 2016 presidential election, voters will have a say in who stays and who goes. Up to now, donors, polls, and party members have had the most influence in who remains a viable candidate. Now, even though the road to the White House begins in Iowa, history shows that since the 1970s, less than a third of Republicans and less than half of Democrats who won here have gone on to win their party's nomination. For the Republicans, the most recent CNN poll of polls averages in Iowa shows Donald Trump holding a lead over Ted Cruz. Political analysts say a Trump victory comes down to turnout.
Turnout becomes important because it'll tell us something about whether he has changed the electorate. I mean, that's the real prospect. Can he bring out new voters who haven't voted before?
Turnout will also be key for Bernie Sanders, who is in a virtual dead heat with Hillary Clinton.
Bernie Sanders is relying on some notably unreliable voting blocks. He's counting on young voters to come out. He's counting on people who have never caucused before, maybe don't really have an attachment to the Democratic Party, to come out and vote for him.
CNN's poll of polls puts Clinton just 3 points ahead of Sanders among Iowa voters, with Martin O'Malley far behind. And just as much as we're paying attention to who is going to win, there's also the game of if somebody loses, do they drop out? We're paying very close attention to what tonight means for the future of several campaigns. We're looking at Mike Huckabee and Rick Santorum, as well as many others who may call this the end of the road. In Des Moines, Iowa, I'm Diane Gallagher. Back to you.
On Friday, the State Department said that for the first time, 22 classified emails had been sent through Hillary Clinton's private computer server that were deemed too classified to be made public, hurting her chances in today's caucus. Here's Clinton herself on her own opinion of the emails.
I take classified information seriously. I did not send or receive any material marked classified, and I want all of these released, and this is a dispute about retroactive classification.
With the Iowa caucuses tonight and the New Hampshire primaries not far behind, Clinton will have to convince voters that she is ready for the presidency despite this email scandal.
The University of Pittsburgh police are looking for 3 suspects after getting 2 reports from women who claim to have been fondled by 3 men. Both incidences occurred Sunday while both women were walking alone. University police are asking for any witnesses and which may have seen anything to come forward and for students to walk in groups at night. The European Union's police agency has said that around 10,000 migrant children who have traveled to Europe seeking refuge may be missing. The names of some suspected migrant smugglers are also appearing in the agency's human trafficking database, which indicates some of the missing children could be vulnerable to trafficking. The spokesperson for the International Organization for Migration, Leonard Doyle, said, quote, "We think it's shocking that we are now learning that there are so many unaccompanied minors exposed to trafficking and other dangers," end quote. A woman was found dead inside a Florida hotel room with no signs of trauma, but what officials did find inside has some people wondering what actually occurred. We now go with a CNN reporter for more on the story.
Well, probably a first for us.
Inside room 115 at the Budget Inn, Northport detectives found these 2 small monkeys.
We call Florida Fish and Wildlife. They were in their crates. They were not running around in the room.
The monkeys belong to a man who was also staying in the room. Detectives say he was acting erratically when they showed up, and on the bed was the body of Linda Marie Smith of Arcadia. Detectives believe Smith had been dead for a few hours, and they didn't see any signs of trauma on her body. They also found a note in the room, but they aren't telling us what it said. One of the managers of the motel says the man and Smith checked in yesterday afternoon and were supposed to check out at 11 a.m. today. When they didn't, the other manager knocked on the door and when no one answered, opened it. Detectives say this is an isolated incident.
It is obviously a strange situation. I think you have to keep in mind that somebody did pass away here. Our goal is to figure out did she do it on her own hands or did somebody do it for her?
This case is still under investigation. Now, Delaney, we have had a great weekend of weather so far, don't you think? And hopefully that can continue over into the weekend, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, I was outside in like short sleeves. It was so warm out. But let's hope that continues for the big weekend we have coming up with Super Bowl Sunday.
I definitely agree.
All right, Ben, what do you have in Pittsburgh sports this weekend?
Well, Delaney, all-stars across leagues made news once again in professional sports. This and more after the break.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to RMU Live. I'm Ben Kelkis with the latest in sports. The Broncos and Panthers had the week off to prepare for the Super Bowl, but the rest of the NFL's brightest stars took to the field at Aloha Stadium in Hawaii. This year's teams for the Pro Bowl were picked by team captains and Hall of Fame players Jerry Rice and Michael Irvin. Although a record-high 47 players decided to sit out, the Seattle Seahawks All-Stars came to play. Quarterback Russell Wilson threw for 3 first-half touchdowns, going 8 for 12 and 165 yards, earning him the MVP title. Ultimately, Team Irvin, coached by Winston Moss, came out over top of Team Rice, led by Andy Reid, for a 49-27 victory. In other NFL news, sources say Detroit Lions wide receiver Calvin Johnson may be bringing his career to a close. Johnson reportedly told his family and a small group of friends, as well as coach Jim Caldwell, that he would be retiring after the 2015-2016 regular season after the final game. Caldwell asked Johnson to take great care and be very patient when coming to a decision like this, a request that the 9-year veteran is honoring. So a decision has not yet been made, but nonetheless, the Lions and Lions fans still have hope that he will return. The All-Star Weekend continued in the National Hockey League with a different flavor in Nashville, Tennessee. Saturday's skills competition was dominated by the Detroit Red Wings' 19-year-old defenseman, Dylan Larkin, who broke the fastest skater competition record, doing a lap around the ice in 13.172 seconds. This broke a record that stood since 1996. Sunday, the league switched things up, introducing a 3-on-3 All-Star tournament. The show was stolen by MVP John Scott, an enforcer who wound up with a pair of goals in the tournament, winning the hearts of fans and hearts of the league around the league, and bringing the Pacific Conference to a 1-0 championship run. Well, that's all the time we have for sports. What's going on with the weather, Eddie?
Thank you, Ben. As Delaney and Hannah mentioned earlier yesterday, February 1st, what a weird start to February with temperatures all the way into the 60s. Unfortunately, that's not going to continue throughout the week. However, today, 45 degrees. Still not a bad start, especially considering that this is the first day of February. I'll welcome February with a 45 anyway. Now, tomorrow, the temperature is going to go up a little bit, up to 47. It's going to be cloudy. There is a slight chance of rain, only about 30% though, so not too bad. Now, going forward into the 5-day forecast, 54 on Wednesday, almost guaranteed rain on that day, but still pretty nice temperature. The low of 29 could cause a little problems driving, might create some slick conditions, but nothing you should really worry about too much, especially if you're not going to be driving later in the day. Moving on to Thursday, 35, low of 23, and this is when temperatures start to drop a little more to what average temperatures would be. Friday, lots of sun, 39, low of 26. Moving into Saturday, 43, 27, and then you're going to round out your 5-day forecast with 44 as your high on Sunday. So as we move back into the weekend, the temperatures will include to be a little higher than usual, especially considering that this is February, but it'll create some good opportunities for you to go outside and enjoy the weather like we did over the past week. Right, Hannah and Delaney?
That's right, Eddie.
I loved the warm weather. I don't know about you.
I was really excited yesterday whenever I was walking to work in basically a short sleeve t-shirt.
I walked all the way to Romo's without a jacket, and it was technically still January then. That's amazing.
I know. I don't want to see it go
I'm so sad to see it. When he said 45 degrees, like, I'm excited to wear my rain boots on Wednesday, don't get me wrong. But I would love to see, I love warm rain. It's the best.
That is really nice. I don't like the cool weather though. All right, well, that's all the time we have for this afternoon.
We'll see you next time.